There we go. I think we are live. Let me just check here. Just want to see that everything works out fine here, that everything looks good. All right. Hi. Oh, it's so nice to see you. How are you feeling? I'm so glad that you could come on here because I was thinking I might be the only one here just talking to myself. So I'm going to continue on working on this project that I haven't picked up in forever. Uh, oh, you ready for bed? Yeah, I'm actually ready for bed soon too. I think I'm going to stay here for like an hour maybe and get some work done on this project. And then I'm going to head to bed. But oh my goodness, what is going on with this yarn? Let's see. So, um, oh, that's so sweet. Um, well, if from my other channel, I did like a crochet vlog where I started a project while I was in my car during like COVID. I had COVID and I had to stay like in isolation, but I had to drive my son back and forth to school, so I was starting a project and I documented it. So I started like a raglan project back then, and I stopped working on it for the longest time. So this is how far I've gotten, and I decided that I wanted to make it into a dress, and it does have these really pretty pastel colors, which I think would be perfect for spring. And since spring is coming around soon, hopefully, I thought it was time to get a move on with this project. And I want it to be a dress. I don't know how long I want it to be, but I have stocked up on the yarn that I'm using so I can make it pretty long if I want to. So I think I'm just gonna continue on working with that. It's also a really easy project to work on, so I can talk and not be super focused at once. If I can just get this straightened out first. So let me know what you're working on. I know like crocheting and working on things while you're sick isn't always like the easiest thing. It's like a hit or miss for me. If I'm like really fever sick, then forget it. And then I don't want to do anything. But if it's just like, eh, then I love to have like a thing to do. What yarn it is, it's this yarn right here. It's a lollipop yarn. It is a, let me see, where is there? So it's 10% wool, 90% acrylic. So it's mostly acrylic, but it's really, really soft, but it's super thin though. So that's why I've been using like a big hook. I'm using a 5mm and doing like double crochets all the way here so that it works up pretty fast, even though it's a thin yarn. So you're working on the top. Oh, that's fun. So it's going to be a dress. It's funny how that happens with projects that you kind of like, especially if you're not following a pattern, then it's so fun to kind of just keep on going. I have like a love-hate relationship with this project because I was so invested in it when I started, and now that I've kind of fallen out of it, I find it hard to get motivated. So I thought that would be the perfect project to do for like a live stream because I don't have to be like super focused and I can get some work done while I'm being a bit social. So what kind of yarn are you using for your top? Is it like a summer top with cotton fibers? I think like for me when I work on tops, I usually go for cotton, but they can get so heavy if they're not like really short or just not a bralette top. But I do like the way that cotton really breathes. This one is a mostly acrylic yarn, so like I said, it's super soft and nice. But having that 10% wool, I'm thinking will make it a little warm, even though I'm working like double crochets and it's gonna be like holes in here. Like it's gonna be more of a mesh dress. But I do have like a slip-on nude colored dress that I think I'm gonna use underneath. So this will be just for extra warmth on those chilly days before summer actually arrives. That's at least what I'm thinking so far. It is so weird to me. I haven't done a live stream in forever. I used to do them quite often on my other channel, and I got quite used to it. This time around, it's been so long that I had to like go on YouTube and watch tutorials and just really do the work to set this up because I just couldn't remember how it was done. And like the OBS program that I'm using, it has changed since the last time I used it, so it doesn't look the same. But let me know like if the song, wow, let me know if the like the sound is weird or anything, or if you can hear me okay, because I tried doing like a test thing and it sounded okay, but sometimes it doesn't come out the same when you're actually live and broadcasting. Yes, out of this, that's where I got it. That's right. They got this super pretty yarn now as well that I'm doing another project with. Like I've shared it on Instagram already because I'm working on like a hexagon dress actually. And they have this really pretty, it's called Candy Floss. It's 13% mohair, 67% acrylic, 4% polyamide, 16% polyester. And this is so fun to work with. Like it's a really fluffy yarn. And they had it in a lot of different colorways. So definitely head to Out of Piece and check out their yarn now because they're having so much fun yarn. Let me see. Okay, that's good. Everything sounds and looks great. That's awesome. Hobby cotton. Yeah, I use the same. Like 8x8 hobby cotton. It's great. I've used that for a couple of tops and I think the result is just awesome. But again, it does get quite heavy. So if you're doing like a full dress, won't that be heavy? I know, it's so gorgeous. I love that yarn. And I think it's going to be a fun part. Like, I'm worried though that this hexagon dress in that yarn is going to be really warm, but we will see. I'm documenting the whole thing, so hopefully it will be more of a success as a finished product than the cat that I made. Even though like the finished end result was pretty good, when it was just a floppy mess and I had to go out and get extra supplies to kind of give it that extra strength, that was kind of a bummer. I feel like I have like a dozen projects at once right now, but the only project that I'm really invested in right now is like the hexagon dress, but that's probably because I'm like filming and documenting the whole thing, so that's why that project feels a bit more special, and I love working on that. But right now I was thinking about working on that project for this live stream, but I've come to a point where I'm gonna like connect the parts, and I haven't done that before with a hexagon project. So I'm thinking it's not the smartest thing when I'm not super focused to try to do that without having like a tutorial on. So I'm gonna wait and try to do that tomorrow. It's it's gonna be a workout to wear the dress. Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty heavy, but then again, it doesn't feel the same. Even though it's like heavy to hold, it doesn't always feel the same way to actually have it on. Because I have like a top I made from the same yarn. It was quite heavy, but I don't feel like it's heavy when I put it on. So, and working with like the thinner cotton yarn, it takes forever. I don't remember who that was that I saw made like a dress with the like the 8x4 cotton yarn from Hobby, and it looked like it took forever. So no thank you. Like I'm too fond of starting new projects to actually work on insane projects that take like way too long. Even though I like love the look of a lot of them. I was playing around with the idea of crocheting a wedding dress, but my goodness, is that a big project, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that or not. It would be fun though. I know, I haven't seen a hexagon dress either, so I'm kind of winging it and just trying to go off of like the base of the cardigan thing and then just trying to see if I can make it into a dress with probably like a belt or something. I know, I make my like amigurumis and my bookmarks and stuff. I make that in the 8x4, and that's great. It works beautifully to make those kind of projects and works out really well. But to make clothes with 8x4, my goodness. I did start a dress for Noel in 8x4 cotton. I wonder if I have it here. No, I think it's in my yarn basket. This is like my yarn corner right here in the couch. Like, I own this corner in the couch, and it's just a whole lot of yarn mess. But I did start on a dress, but that was with like a V-stitch, so it worked up pretty quickly, even though it was 8x4. But no, I would rather go for 8x8. I haven't tried the 8x6 though. Have you ever used that for anything? Because I haven't. Because I'm thinking that could be like a good middle ground, because the 8x8 can be a little bit thick. But then again, it works up pretty fast, and we love that. I love watching people who do like super big projects within yarn though. It's so beautiful and so detailed, but I don't have the patience for it. I can use thin yarn and just size up and do projects like this where it works up pretty fast. But to see like the super intricate work that some people do, I'm in awe. I don't have the brain capacity or the patience for it, unfortunately. Like, I want to start multiple projects and I want to see them actually finished and not having to work like weeks and weeks and weeks on one project before I can actually see the finished result. I know, like the hobby cotton yarn, there's something really amazing about it. Like, Hobby has done something truly amazing with their cotton yarn. I've never experienced a cotton yarn that's like as good to work with as Hobby's. I haven't like tried a lot of it either though, but from the ones I have tried, like, Hobby is definitely the best. It has so many colors. It's really soft, and I find that quite a lot of cotton yarn is a bit itchy and tough on my skin, but especially like the rainbow cotton, I haven't tried like their Friends collection, but I'm thinking that's the same cotton as they use in the rainbow cotton collection. I think so, but I might just have to try that. I do want to experiment a little bit more with bamboo. Like, that's so soft and nice to work with, but I haven't done like a full project with it yet. I do have like a bamboo tencel yarn somewhere that is like the softest, most pretty yarn, but it's quite thin. It's like the same thinness as the 8x4. So what on earth am I going to make that with? I was thinking about maybe doing like a summer bralette, but I don't know. I don't know if I have the patience for it. We'll see. But it is like the softest thing I've ever come across. So I think it would be a nice yarn to use for either like a bralette or maybe garments for kids, like something of that sort. But we'll see. I have like a million ideas these days, and just too little time. I'm wondering if I've done something weird here, or if it's just like the yarn that's acting a little weird. No, it looks like I've done it correctly. It's always funny when it's like a project you haven't picked up in a really long time, and for some odd reason it just feels like everything is wrong. But I think I'm doing it right. Oh my goodness. No, it looks okay. Okay, so it is the same thing. Yeah, I was thinking that like the French cotton and the rainbow cotton should be the same. It's just different color schemes. Even though I think even the colors kind of look the same. But who knows? I feel like it's more of a marketing thing. Like they just wanted to have all of these yarns that were connected to each other. And Hobby does like a really good job with sucking us in and making us want all of the yarn. Like sometimes I do want to unsubscribe from the newsletter, but then again I love getting it and seeing what they have on sale, and I get sucked in every time. Every time. But I'm so ready for winter to be over and to have more like spring and summer projects. Because I feel like summer and spring projects, they work up faster, like they're not as big. You can always do like beanies and stuff like that in wintertime, but there's something about summer and spring clothing that is just extra fun to make. And you take out all of these colors, and yes, we fall for it every time. The amount of yarn that I have, like, it's embarrassing. It is way more than I have projects for at the time, and sometimes I just stand there and look at all the yarn I have. I'm like, what was I thinking? What am I going to do with all of this yarn? This is ridiculous. And then the next day I'm in a yarn store or I'm shopping on Hobby and justifying getting more of it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, but here we are. I'm gonna pretend that it's just wonderful for my mental health. It is wonderful for my mental health to be working with my hands. I find it very therapeutic. Like, I found therapy through yarn when I was struggling a lot. I was knitting at the time mostly. I hadn't started with crochet yet, but there is just something so mindful and zen with working with your hands. And right now I've picked up drawing again, which I haven't done in years, and I'm having so much fun with it. And it's the same thing. It's just very therapeutic and nice to just disconnect from the world a little bit and create. And watching your creation come to life, I don't know what I would do without the ability to do that. I have no idea. I think I've always created in one way or another. There's always been something going on in my life where I've created, I've been mostly writing for the longest time, and I still want to continue on with my writing journey, but I took a little break from it just because I didn't have the mind capacity for it. After Luna was born, and I find that when I can't read, I can't write either. So when I didn't have the brain capacity to read books, I couldn't write stories either. But now that I've finally found my way back to reading, I feel this urge to write again. And I'm having so much fun with that too. Like, it's been wonderful to get back into that. Okay, there we go. I kind of lost my place here. Yeah, I think that's the silly thing about. I remember when I was a kid and I wanted to pursue arts and pursue like making things. I was immediately told that um, it was not like a safe career. You can't make money from creating. You can't make money from being an artist. And I think it's so silly. I think it's dumb that we tell kids these things. Not all of us, of course. I think our generation is better at knowing that pursuing our dreams when it comes to art and creating, we are more aware that there are so many possibilities within art to make money. But for the longest time, I believed my parents. They told me that I couldn't pursue something in art. I had to take like the safe road, had to get like a business degree. I tried and fell completely out of it and been working instead ever since. And I wish that I would have listened to my gut and just pursued arts and crafts and what I loved to do at a younger age. But I didn't. Like, I trusted my parents, and here we are. Getting into a career like this many, many, many years later. Now, I have done something weird here. I don't know what it is. Wait a second. I think I might know what it is that I've done here. No, maybe not. Okay, I'm clueless now. I'm gonna have to frog a little bit of this because I've done something weird with this project. And you were also told that. I know. I know. I feel that too. And getting like a career and getting to a place where you can actually live off of art and creating, it takes a lot of work. Like, I'm not even close to being there yet, but I can definitely see that there are possibilities there. And I do also think that it's very, very damaging and very toxic. Especially, it's funny though. I remember very vividly as a kid, like, we were told all the time that we could be whatever we wanted to be. Like, that was the thing. You can become whatever you want to be. And that was just a wonderful idea. Like, it was the greatest thing, thinking about how we could become anything. And then all of a sudden, when you start to become like 15, 16, and you have to make career or educational choices, then you're told that you can't be everything. You have to choose the right path, and you have to choose a safe path. And so it's so contradictory to what we're told as small kids. It's so funny to me. And I think as a parent, I would never want to be in a position where I tell my kids that they can't chase their dreams. I do want to be honest and talk about like how hard it can be and how discouraging at times it can be, because you do get that little voice that says why bother, and sometimes it's hard to not listen to that voice. But there's also such an immense joy in actually seeing it through and actually seeing your projects come to life, whether that's like fiber art or writing or music making or dancing, whatever it is. There's something so precious and special with seeing that come to life. And I think it's the saddest thing ever that so many of us had that part kind of taken away from us by our parents or other people in our lives that told us that, no, it's time to grow up. You can't chase that dream anymore. So we find ourselves like trying to do like the sensible thing for a long time, and then we end up falling back to our hobbies and falling back to the things that bring us joy. But usually we hit a wall first. That's what's so sad about it. Like, we end up working so hard for like the safe way of living, and then we hit a wall, and we find out that that safety and that money, although it is nice to have like a security blanket around you when it comes to money, it doesn't bring you joy. It brings you security, which feels nice too, but working to live and live to work is not a way to live. It's a waste of a life, to be honest. I'm trying to frog back to a point where I can see what the heck I was doing. But I'm struggling to find out what it is that I've been doing here. It's the life of crochet designing. I've frogged so many projects. I had this big project too. I've been working on a cardigan for quite a while, and I ran out of the yarn that I'm using for that cardigan, and it's been discontinued, so I can't get any more of it. So I kind of just fell out of love with the whole project. I found different yarn that had somewhat of the same color scheme to make the arms. Oh my goodness, what is it with this yarn? There. But I just don't like the look of it anymore, and every time I try to pick it up, I'm just very discouraged by it. So I think I'm just gonna frog the whole thing and make something else with it. But it sucks when you've used like a lot of time on it. Winning the lottery would be great. I played like the Euro jackpot this weekend. I wasn't even close. Not even a little bit. But we talk about that all the time here in our household. Like, what would we do if we won the lottery? Like, what would we use the money for? Like, I think one of the first things, and this is a thing we've agreed on several times, if we won a lot of money, we would pay off like our family's loans and stuff, which I think would be such a great thing to do. Apparently you can't do that without their permission. You can't just go into a bank and be like, hey, I want to pay off their loan, which kind of sucks because it would be fun to do that as a surprise. But yeah, one can dream, right? Oh, okay. I think I realized what it is I've been doing wrong. Maybe. Or maybe not. This is crazy to me that I can't understand what it is I've been doing. But I think I know. So we're gonna try again. But yeah, money does not equal happiness. Like, money is great and all. Like, it's wonderful to have money and to be able to live. And no, this isn't right either. What the heck is going on here? But I started like going into like sales for an education because that was what I was told was like a safe choice. And I realized really quickly that I didn't like it. Like, I was good at it, but I knew that I didn't want to do it for the rest of my life. And I told my parents that. I told them that I didn't want to like pursue a degree in sales, and I was forced to keep going. Like, I was not allowed to quit. And I wish that they would have handled it differently. I wish that I wouldn't have listened. I wish that I just would have pursued that thing. And, you know, you never know where your life would have been if you made those choices. It might have been, like, not in a better place at all, but there is something so important in letting kids decide for themselves how they want to pursue their life. Oh my goodness. I've come to a point where I'm trying to frog this yarn and I can't. Like, it's stuck. And I don't want to rip it too hard because I'm afraid it's gonna just come undone completely. What is going on? Now this yarn is a pain to frog. I can't remember it being like this hard to frog, but it probably was. I can't. I so don't want to ruin it, but I think it's gotten kind of like stuck in on itself with these fuzzy parts or something of that sorts. Ah, my goodness. I'm almost tempted to pick up another project just because this is a pain right now. Okay, I'm just gonna try to handle it with a little bit of strength here. Oh my goodness. No, it went to pieces. That was what I was worried about. Well, just have to tie a knot on it later on. But yeah, this yarn is not fun to frog. But I find that's the case with a lot of like this fuzzy yarn is an absolute pain to frog. Like, it will get stuck on itself. Now I can't even find the end that I ripped it out of. Okay, we're gonna continue frogging just a little bit before I get like super discouraged and pick up another project. Luckily, I have plenty to choose from. But the same with like the baby snuggle yarn and all of that. It's so nice to work with. A pain to frog. Like you have to really work with that yarn to get it to frog without it just shedding like crazy. So, I see. Oh no. I haven't worked with that yarn before. That's also kind of a fluffy yarn, isn't it? I think I've seen it. There's something about like the fluff. It gets stuck in on itself. And I just can't. So the project I had been planning on doing like for a live stream is that I'm working on a mood blanket. Okay, so yeah, so it is a fluffy yarn. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. I'm getting really frustrated with this project now. I'm going to just put it aside so that I don't ruin it. But what I was going to work on initially, I'm going to share this in a video soon too, but I'm working on a mood blanket. I'm super behind on it because I've ran out of the yarn that I'm going to use for the next days. I've shown this off a couple of times. But I have like, here is the start of my mood blanket for 2023. I have not done a project like this before, and I'm not really that interested in like the temperature and the weather, so I didn't want to do like a temperature blanket. But a mood blanket made more sense to me. But like here is the start of February, and I think I've come like halfway into February, and then I ran out of the right colors, so I need to go and get that. I was headed out to the yarn store to get it yesterday, but then I got distracted by other things, so I have to do that tomorrow. I love the colors too. It took me the longest time to pick out the colors because I wasn't really sure what kind of a color scheme I wanted to go for. I thought about doing like pastel colors, but that doesn't really fit with the colors that we're going for in our home. Even though I love pastel colors, I think it would be nicer to have a blanket that would actually be used in our home and doesn't look like it's just a big pink elephant that doesn't belong there. So the question is, what project should I pick up instead? What do we have here? I'm not really sure right now. I feel like I'm in the middle of several projects, but not at a point where it's easy to continue on with all of them. Well, we can pick up that sweater that I'm not so much in love with anymore and see how we feel about it. So let's see if we can untangle it from all of the other yarn that we have here. So I think I started this around Christmas. I think it was. Like, I was so invested and so in love with the project. And like I said, when I ran out of the yarn and I had to do like a separate color for the arms. But it's kind of my own fault as well because I didn't calculate how much yarn I needed, which is hard to do when you don't have a pattern to follow. Okay, so here it is. You like the idea of a mood blanket? I did so too. Like, I thought about it for most last year when I saw that temperature blankets were making like a big fuss over on social media. And I thought about it for so long, and then New Year's came around, and then I was seeing so many others do mood blankets, so I was definitely not alone with having that idea. Oh, how many whips do I have? I'm gonna do like a full, like, showing all the whips that I have video, I think. But right now, the ones that I have a few that I've started that I probably won't finish. So I'm not gonna include those. But I have the raglan sweater that is now driving me crazy, so I have to figure that out. I'll probably do that tomorrow. And the hexagon dress, I am working on. I did like a hand warmer in neon yellow for my boyfriend that he can use while he's gaming. So I have this one right here. I'm making the second one as a YouTube tutorial, so I need to do that maybe tomorrow or the day after. I started making a Peppa Pig for Noel, but I had the wrong pink color, so I think I'm going to restart that project. Then we have the cardigan. I also have a wall hanging that is almost finished that I'm going to be releasing a pattern for, which is this one. I haven't steamed it yet, so it kind of rolls off. But this needs to be steamed and blocked and put on like a wooden hanger and taken pictures of, and then I need to write up the pattern. But I think it turned out pretty cute. Do I have other problems? Oh, and the mood blanket, of course. Are there any more? I started on a scarf. Not sure if I'm going to finish it. I think that's all. And then there's probably some projects that I've gotten. And they will probably stay forgotten. I do have like a really big knit project that I've had it for probably 5 years. And it's a really long, beautiful cardigan, but I haven't picked it up in probably like 2 years. And I really should, because I've spent so much money on the yarn. And I'm over halfway done, so it's just silly to not try to actually finish it. Yes, here is the cardigan, if I can find out what's up and down. Here it is. So I love this like speckled blue color, but this is the yarn that is discontinued. And then I looked through like the different colors of blue that's in this, and I found this blue that matches very well with some of the spots. But I kind of wish that I've gotten with like this more turquoise blue for the arms, but I don't know. I don't know if I like it anymore. And it's like difficult to actually choose to, am I going to continue on with this and just see if I like it at the end, or am I going to stop now and okay, we're going to continue. We're going to continue on working with it for this stream since the dress didn't want to cooperate. Fantastic with jeans. Yes, I think so too. I love this. I'm just like worried about this. And I'm probably just overthinking it. Probably. Like, I don't know. I probably should just stop thinking so much about it and just work on it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue on with this project and see if we can fall back in love with it. It's one of those projects that works up quite quick. So it's quite silly that I've just fallen out of love with it and just put it away like this. But sometimes that happens. Sometimes. How many whips do you have at the moment? I'm so fascinated by those crocheters and knitters who can commit to just one project at a time. I've never been like that. It's the same with books. I can't I'm always in the middle of like 3 or 4. And it's the same with projects. And it's also the same with like the different crafts that I do. I can't just stick with one. Like I can be fully invested in one and do mostly that, but I will tend to like gravitate to other crafts as well. So for the longest time that I've just been crocheting, I started to miss knitting, and then I went back and kind of did like a small knitting project. And now that I crochet, I went back to drawing because I find that to be lovely to work with too. So I need to have these little breaks doing different crafts. Keep going, okay. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna trust you on this. That's true. I feel like it's always like that. I can have like a general idea of how the project will look when it's done, but it's never exactly the way that it does actually look like when it's done. What are the two that you are actually actively working on? I think it would be fun to find like the old whip. I think I have like a box upstairs with old whips that I haven't looked through in a couple of years. So I think I might have to do that. Pick that box out of the hole it's sunken into and go through it. Maybe I'll do that for a video and actually look at my old projects and see if I'm gonna pick any of them up again. Oh no, the yarn fell to the floor. Ooh. There we go. I love working with big hooks on projects because it does work up so fast, and that just makes the project a bit more fun, I think. But then again, I also love doing amigurumis and working on those tiny projects. Top dress. Oh, right. Yes. I remember that. How is that going? Because that looked like it was quite a lot of work. I actually got like a whole bunch of crochet magazines from my mom that she was gifted, but they're all in German. So I think I'm gonna have to go through them and just use Google as my guide and see if I can actually understand any of them. Slowly. I can imagine, like, it looked like a project that would take a long time. But as long as it's fun, then it's worth it. And it doesn't matter if it takes a long time. I have been playing around with lace yarn as well, and I think it's really fun to work with, even though it does take a while. But you can get so beautiful results by working with like really thin yarn. It's so delicate, and I don't know, it feels a bit timeless. And I think it's because like my grandma used to make these really gorgeous like pillowcases and stuff like that with really thin yarn and hooks, and I remember thinking they were so beautiful, and I still think they are. And wow, Yeah, there's something very special about that. These are going to be some quite big balloon arms. I love having like balloon sleeves that are big. A reference to that sweater that I made a good while back. um, they are so fun to wear, but they are hopeless when it comes to winter and you need to wear a winter coat over it because you can't fit those arms into any coat. Like, it's hopeless. So I keep making sweaters and stuff that is hard to wear in the Norwegian weather. But hey, maybe I just need to make them warm enough so I don't need a jacket over. I don't remember what this blue yarn is called actually, but it's really soft and really nice to work with. Hopefully I can actually find the same yarn if I run out. Oh, that would be the thing though, if I continue on with this. If I run out of the yarn and I can't find the same one. I know exactly where in the yarn shop I bought it. It was. So if they moved it, then I have a problem. I know, balloon sleeves are an absolute pain. An absolute pain. But I love the look of it. Same with like the big sleeves. I love that too. But they're so impractical. But I still tend to go for it. Yes, you do end up looking really buff. I've had a couple of times where I've stuffed them in my coat and it looks so weird. It's so bulky and funny looking, and moving your arms is just hopeless. You have no movement range at all. But it's pretty when you take the coat off, though, so I would say it's worth it. Speaking of jeans, I definitely need to go thrift some new jeans. I've been acing it at the thrifting game lately. Like, our thrift stores here in the area has had so much good stuff. I'm not sure if it's because of like the shift from winter to spring that makes them have such a good like, they have so much good stuff. So I'm hoping to find some jeans that actually fit. Because buying new jeans is so expensive. I do have like a couple of jeans that I can wear that fits okay, but I would like a couple more, even though I'm more of a dress girl these days. Oh, sorry. This cough, it just lingers after we had our colds. It just won't go away. It comes in waves too. I'm gonna run and get my water. There we go. Oh no. I know Selections of Thrift Store isn't great everywhere. Like, my town didn't have the greatest selection of thrift stores for the longest time. And then a couple of them opened and they've been really good so far. So I'm hoping that they do make enough money that they can actually continue on to stay open. Because I worried with like a small town like this, it feels like every time I fall in love with a new store or a new cafe or anything, a couple of months go by and then they shut down. So, but these have been open for a while, and one of them is part of a bigger chain of stores. So I'm thinking they're good. I hope so. But thrifting has become quite expensive too. I remember it being super cheap a few years back, but buying things secondhand is not necessarily cheap anymore. But you can find some really good deals. And I do buy quite a bit of clothes on Ties as well. But then you don't have the option to try it on first, so it can be a bit of a hit or miss. We go. Starting to work up pretty good now. We do have a few thrift stores here that doesn't really sell clothes too. And they're very good for like furniture and stuff. But I don't know. I usually end up buying secondhand on Finn or Ties or stuff like that. And then I do want to make more of my own clothes that I actually wear. I tried making, I crocheted a tank top, I think 2 years ago. I was so invested in it. I loved the look of it. Bought like the yarn in the exact same colors as the pattern and everything. Did not do a swatch. Did not do a gauge swatch. Made the whole thing. And then I didn't even try it during the whole process, which I find so weird that I didn't even think of trying it. And then I put it on when it was done and it looked horrible. It just, the fit was not right. I think I still have it somewhere, but I just ended up putting it way back in the back end of the darkest corner in my closet. Yeah, I'm still horrible at doing gauge swatches, but I know I'm not alone in that. Yeah. Online shopping it's hard. Like some things I don't online shop for. Pants is one of them. Pants are always difficult, especially jeans. Like there are so many factors there and they're made so differently that it's almost impossible to buy jeans online and getting them to fit perfectly. That would be almost like a miracle. I think most of us has been there with a project at one point where we've been so invested and didn't do like the gauge swatch and then it just looks bleh. The worst thing was that I was so excited about it. I was so excited to wear that tank top for summer, and then when it didn't fit, I was so sad. I think that's why I ended up never like frogging or picking it up or trying to do it in a different size. I got so discouraged by the whole project and I didn't even want to look at it anymore. Oh my goodness, it's been an hour already. Well, I think it's about that time where we're gonna round this off. It might have been just you and me here. I haven't really paid attention to if anyone else popped in or out. But I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed having company while I worked on this, not just being me, myself, and I watching X-Files and getting lost in a project. Did have a little bit of struggle with that raglan project. I was very ready to get on with that and get a good start to it again, but now I need to figure out what is going on with that project. Ah. Oh, I'm so happy that I could make your COVID evening better. I hope you feel better soon and that you get well. And I will definitely be doing this again pretty soon. So feel better, and I'm gonna round this off and say goodnight, and we will talk soon. All right. Cheers with whatever's making you feel better that you have in your cup or your glass. And I will see you later. Bye.